will share my screen. So let me know that you can actually see the screen that I want you to see. And I'll move you lot over there. So I'll be looking in the other direction, but you should still be able to see me, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so it's me and Rita again. And I'm hoping I'm going to get this right because I don't do Zoom PowerPoints very often. So I'm hoping I get it right. So basically, this is a business owner's guide to self-care. And you know what? I can't see my notes, which is always exciting. So give me a second. Let me work out what's going on. And then you can have me back. So let's get started. This is all about self-care, which all of us overlook, but it's critically important, as you know. Basically, self-care refers to behaviors and activities which contribute in a positive way to your physical and mental health. Loads of benefits, as you know, including reducing your stress, your productivity, even your clarity and creativity. But it's so much more important with regards to your mental health. Yet, lots of us business owners don't actually practice self-care. We're too busy looking after our businesses, but it's really important. It's crucial to your business success. So basically, what constitutes self-care? Any of you got any ideas? Throw a few ideas out. What kind of things constitute self-care?
Alone time.
Massage.
So me time.
Yeah.
Just time to chill, time to gather my thoughts. I mean, doing stuff with family is great in that, with people we care about. But sometimes for me, just being not only by myself, but I can be in a room full of people in the gym, whatnot, but I'm still by myself. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
just that idea of space, physical space or mental space, I guess.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, that's the bit that people miss out, is alone time.
I have a real sense of guilt if I go to get my hair done or my nails done. That what if the team find out that I'm doing something for me, and and they think, oh, she's out. You know, we're working hard, and she's out getting her nails done. But
Joanne, no. Yeah, and I'll tell you why that needs to be let go of over this next couple of hours. Okay, so first for exercise. Ultimate form of self-care, whether that's going for a walk or having a swim or doing proper exercise. It's one of the most positive contributions to every area of your health, including your mental well-being. Just 20 to 30 minutes of physical activity helps to increase your energy levels. You get a better positive body image, more confidence, your mood improves and your stress goes down. But it can also help combat disease, as we know, and promote better sleep, which helps you to become the best version of you in all areas of your life. Sleep. How many of us sacrifice our sleep with regards to work, staying up late, working for early hours of the morning? How many of us basically sacrifice sleep for our businesses? Write in the chat, or don't write in the chat because there's only the two of you. Tell me about, on average, how many hours of sleep do you get a night, you pair?
I reckon I get it. Well, I'll try and get to bed by 10:30, 11. Sometimes I go to bed a bit earlier, but I'm generally up at 6 or awake 6:30ish. But it's not so much my sort of routine of going to bed. It's my brain doesn't switch off, which is stealing my sleep time. It's not the fact that I'm not trying to go to bed. I go to bed because I'm laying there, I'm like, okay, chill out. And it's like, well, your brain's just ticking over. I try to get back up for half an hour, watch a bit of TV, and then try and go back to bed again. So it's not so much I'm trying to give myself that time to sleep, but sometimes, not all the time, but my brain goes, no, it still just keeps ticking over. It's like, wake up and it's ticking over. So that's probably the main.
I don't have any trouble going to sleep. I crash and burn, and my partner gets upset because he's in for the chat and I'm like in bed and I'm out to it. But then about that 2:30 mark, I'm awake, and I'm the same then, Josh, is my mind just is that constant idle chit chat. And
what I would recommend for both of you is have a pad next to your bed, and all those thoughts that are in your head, get them out onto the pads, because what happens with the human mind is that we need to close the loop. If we haven't closed the loop for the day, it'll just keep going over in our minds, trying to get us to remember it so we don't forget it for the next day. If you write it down.
I've just got to take this call. It's the bank. For my
Carry on, Joanne.
Can I just add to that, Mandy? Because you remember the daily planner? Because I'm a big thing, like I think a lot before I go to bed, and I used to wake up thinking about things and having the pad next to my bed. But with that daily planner, before I go to bed, remember how I said to you the last time when I was doing one of the workshops, I write everything. Before I go to bed, I just think for 10 minutes, all the things that I need to do for the next day. And what I found, if I just sit there for 10 minutes and go, what else, it stops my brain from trying to wake up at that 2 o'clock mark or that 3:30 mark, because I usually get up anywhere from 2:30 to 3:30. But I notice now that I'm sleeping better because I'm writing everything before I go to bed.
Your brain needs to close that loop. So give that a try, both of you, and see what happens.
I definitely use the daily planner during the day. I sometimes use it as a bit of a refocus tool. So like, similarly, I'll not necessarily right before I go to bed, but late afternoon or early evening, what they want to do for the next day. And then I'll get up next day, start doing that. But then I'll sort of hang on a second, stop for a second, reassess, cross off what I've done, rewrite it again. So I'll sort of like rewrite it, if you like, a couple of times and bring it back to focus each time. Rather than have a big list with 20 things and half crossed off. Once half are crossed off, I put the rest back again, and I've probably thought of 5 more things you've got to put on there. So instead of just keeps ticking over, it gives me a bit of like a refocus tool to get that 5 minutes to rewrite stuff. Just say, okay, even though I haven't done half of it, rewrite it, and then add bits to it, and then go again.
So Josh, I got papers and papers off my planner, like just all the time on my table.
Mine's not stuff that I have to do. It's something that might have happened through the day, or, we're having difficulty at the moment because I'm having to let a client go due to the 2-hour rule, and she only needs an hour and a half service. And under the legislation, I can only charge the hour and a half, but I have to pay my staff 2 hours, and I can't service this lady. She's one of my regional ladies. So now I've got some of my regional staff turning on me for letting this lady down, and I'm losing thousands of dollars servicing her, and they don't comprehend that. So mine's having to understand and learn to, they're my worries and my worries, that sort of thing. So it's not so much how I have to, what I have to do, because I have gotten, since starting this course, into the habit of writing things down. It's more so how I'm having to deal with things. And
it's the stress. It is the stress. What you've got to remember is that you are doing your best, and other people's perception of what that is their perception. It's nothing to do with you. The best thing to do is to communicate as effectively as possible, so that they are aware of why these things are happening, and it literally isn't, and they still do.
And we've put it in, my operations manager's put it in black and white for them, given them the figures, explained sent the legislation, done everything.
Again, Joanne, it's their perception of it, and unfortunately some humans' perceptions you can't change. You've done your best, and you've explained the situation, clarified it as much as you possibly can. After that, it's not up to you to explain to them, for them to help them to understand. They should already understand, and if they don't, you're never going to make them. They're living in their own reality.
And I guess it just worries me, because I've put so much time and effort into them and the business.
Unfortunately, sometimes you just need to let it go, because it's like banging your head against a brick wall.
They're my internal issues. I
know. It's because you care. It's because you give a damn. And I get that. I absolutely get that. But sometimes you have to let it go, because there's nothing you can do to change it. And worrying about it is just going to make you unwell. So that's sleep. Getting plenty of sleep. Attitude. Self-care is good.
How do I get the screen back? I've lost you guys. I've got you guys there, but I've lost the screen.
You're not sharing screen?
Okay, see if you can find the little, I think it's a blue icon with a little video camera.
There's a
Down the bottom on the bar on your screen.
now all I've got is just us swap shared screen. No, oh, no, that's not what I want. I've lost you. Oh,
Look at the top bar as well. So you could see a thing that says My Meeting Zoom anywhere on the screen. Little button.
hide thumbnail video, show active speaker video, show.
Try that.
No, it's not happening. Sorry, guys.
No, don't be. It's fine. I know what it's like.
And then maybe, no, that's just,
Let me stop sharing screen.
sorry, guys. I thought it would have been show.
Okay, I've stopped sharing screen. I'm going to share it again. Have you got all of us on the screen now, Joanne?
No, you've totally disappeared now after that.
We'll be at the bottom in the in your tabs. If you go along the tabs,
There we
they'll
go.
light
We're
up.
back.
You
Yep,
got us?
we're back. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll share
Sorry.
screen again. There we go. We've got mindset.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so, oh, fiddlesticks and banana cakes. Why does it do this to me? There we go, mindset. So basically, a little self-care can go an awful long way to improving your attitude. Adjusting your attitude can easily make a bad day turn into a good day. It's best to do everything you need to do to keep a positive attitude, even when, Joanne, people around you are in a slump of some description and don't see what you see. When you're around your friends, family and co-workers, you're not changing their attitude, and you don't allow them to change yours either. If you get into the habit of having a positive mental attitude all the time and don't allow the negatives to creep in, when the negatives do creep in, just change it to more of a positive. I was going to set you a little task now as well. So basically, gratitudes. Do any of you practice gratitudes in the morning and in the evening, writing down gratitudes?
Oh, I used to.
Yeah,
I've done this one for a while.
Yeah, I don't so much do it in a formal way, but I do often think.
Okay. But I'd like you to do from now on, I'd like you to get a beautiful little journal, a little diary, both of you. I know this is rather twee to some people, but I'd like you to get a gorgeous little journal of some description, even if it's a masculine journal of some description. And what I would like you to do every single morning is open up your curtains to let the sun shine in and write down 3 things that you're grateful for that day. It doesn't have to be world changing at all. It can be tiny little things, but just write them down. The act of getting them out of your head and onto paper is so different to just thinking about it. Writing it onto paper every day just changes the whole day. Then at the end of the night, end of the day, write down 3 things that happened that day that you were grateful for. And as you do this more and more often, it becomes habitual and it helps to change your attitude, because your attitude then becomes more grateful. Yeah. So practice that for me. Even if you miss a day or so, that's fine. Just do it as many times as you can until it actually becomes a habit. And your whole attitude changes. The way that you look at the world changes. It's amazing how quickly.
Can I also add to that as well? I used to do it, like I used to do a lot of this, like I used to add it in my kids' prayers, right? So before they used to go to bed, we used to say prayers, but we used to always do, you know, what you said and 3 gratefuls as well. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys pray or not, but you can always add it into your prayers too.
It works, well. It helps.
Yeah, but I did it with the kids.
Yeah.
How do I get rid of this thing at the top? Never mind. Okay, so at the end of the day, all any of us entrepreneurs and business owners want is more time. You can't add more time into your day, unfortunately, but you can take time back by outsourcing. So outsource as many tasks that you possibly can to save you time. So when you start getting your finances allow, Get a gardener so that you've got more quality time with the people that you care about. Get a cleaner, an administrative assistant, or even a virtual assistant, somebody that's going to allow you to have more of your time back, that precious time that we spend doing the little things that we don't need to be doing, because the quality time that you spend with people adds to your mental health and adds to your attitude. It's integral. Self-care is so integral to owning and running a business. So share some love to yourself. Plan self-care into your schedule. Maintain your friendships. Connect with your friends regularly. If you haven't seen a mate for a long time, even just sending them an SMS, or giving them a call and chatting to them for half an hour, somebody you haven't seen for ages. Family, get regular exercise because it helps reduce your stress levels. Diet, eat nutritious food that helps with your energy levels and helps with your stress management. Avoid too much caffeine or sugar, which is obviously sometimes a staple for us business owners, and even ask for help. It's really tricky. This is a tricky one because we don't always like to accept help, but if it's offered, accept it. Don't go through life on your own and managing the business on your own. If somebody offers to help, accept that help. And if you're worrying or stressing, find somebody that you love and trust that you can talk to about it, even just for a short period of time, be that a loved one, a family member, or even a doctor or counsellor. But make sure that the stress isn't internalized and not being spoken about, because the longer you hold negativity in, the worse you're going to feel. So just get those stresses out. You need to think of yourself as your own best friend, basically, being kind to yourself, encouraging and rewarding yourself for goals achieved. You have to reward yourself regularly. And if that reward is to take half an hour to yourself, or a massage, going and get your nails done, going and playing golf, kicking the ball around a field with the kids, getting your hair done, anything, reward yourself, okay? Especially if you've gone through a difficult period of time or you've achieved a small goal. You need to give yourself rewards and be as passionate, positive and compassionate toward yourself as you possibly can. Also plan something that you can look forward to, like a holiday or a trip with your mates or a night out with your mates, something that you can look forward to. Even if it's a week in advance, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month in advance, you need to have something that's exciting to look forward to, so that your life is just one big, you don't want it to just be one big, long work and nothing else, nothing to look forward. You need to have things to look forward to in your life, even if it's little things. Spend quality time with yourself as well, like Josh said earlier, away from the usual demands. Even if it's just 15 minutes a day by yourself, go for a walk, have a bath, read a book, meditate. Once you start, you're actually going to wonder why you haven't been doing this before. So start. Quality sleep. We need to put our phones down. Unfortunately, we spend way too much time on electronics and telephones. Put your phones down, especially in the evening. Switch them off about an hour before you go to bed. Put them onto sleep mode so that nobody can contact you during certain hours. There's an app on your phone whereby you can allow emergency calls through, so only certain people can get through to you if they ring more than once. Put it onto that. Nobody else needs to be getting through to you, and you don't need to be on your electronics. And try a relaxation technique of some description, meditation of some description, so that you can help with your quality of sleep, not just going to sleep, but staying asleep, that quality of sleep. You need to get into that habit of using good, clean nighttime techniques to allow you to sleep properly. And even squeeze in some meditation into your day. There's loads of apps that you can get onto where you can squeeze in a 5-minute or a 10-minute meditation. But if they're not your thing, then just visualize some safe, peaceful place and just chill for 5 minutes. If you're so stressed, just, oh, look at that dog. Oh my God, that would work. Stroking a dog for 5 minutes helps.
That's my son's dog. My dogs and my chooks are my
De-stressors. Brilliant.
I had
Brilliant.
I saw my horse this week. He's gone to Victoria to the floods. I'm a bit worried about him, but I didn't have time for him. My dogs and my chooks are my sanity.
They'll be fine.
It wasn't the glue factory you went to, was it?
Don't, no, stop.
I found a beautiful lady for him down in Victoria that's got the time. She's a paramedic to give to him.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Because whenever I hear my pet's gone on a holiday,
No,
I'm
not
very
that kind of holiday,
I'd
Jack.
be saving them from the glue factory. I wouldn't be sending them there.
So here are some self-care ideas for small business owners. So no social media until 9 o'clock, take regular breaks, positive self-talk, journaling every day, creating vision boards, reading books, reflecting on your day, lots of different things that you can do to prioritize your self-care. So have a look and see what would work for you, what would work for your schedule. You don't have to take these ideas, but stuff that works for you to make sure that you're looking after yourself. Okay, we're going to do an activity. This is the Wheel of Life. I've shared this with you before, and I'm actually going to share the template with you. I'm hoping that I will be able to share it with anybody and everybody. Anyone with a link, copy link. I'm going to put this in the chat for you so that you can share this. And we're going to do the Wheel of Life. Control V. So either download it, print it off, whichever's easiest for you. And we're going to do the Wheel of Life. So let's take some time to work on this on our own. So basically what I'd like you to do is print it off. And I want you to work on what it is about the Wheel of Life that we can do. So it's got from 1 to 10, you've got all the different sections: friends and family, significant other, personal growth, fun and leisure, home and environment. What I'd like you to do is put a mark in each one of these from 0 to 10 as to why you are in that level at the moment. So significant other, 1 to 10, whereabouts are you sitting at the moment within your current life? And then write some notes underneath as to why you've got that score. Yeah. So take a few minutes to do that. Don't overthink it. Just do it nice and quickly. No overthinking. And we'll give you a few minutes to do that. Let me know when you're done. Should put some music on. I might find. You don't need music, puts you off.
No, I can't find where I've saved it now.
You can just write the categories down and write a number if you like, and then you can fill
just
it
write
in
a
later.
list of the categories. Just write the categories and then write your current score between 1 and 10. No overthinking, just your current score between 1 and 10, and then a few points underneath as to why you've got that score. I'll give you 5 minutes to do that. I'm going to do it at the same time. I really should put some music on. It would be nice. Don't overthink it.
Am I still on board? Yeah.
What was that?
So I've lost everybody. What's going on here?
We're still here.
How about if I go there? Yeah, ding dong. All right, wake up, buddy.
Tuesday morning. Let me know when you've done that.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I don't know if I've done it right though. Sorry.
You will have done. All you need to do is basically write a score of between 1 and 10 of where you believe you are in your life right now in each one of those different segments.
My life's looking very poor at the moment.
Well, we need to work on that then, don't we, Joanne? Which is exactly why you're here today.
That is absolutely correct. So.
Yes, we do. Okay, wonderful. We'll go back to that later. So thank you for doing that one. So basically, we're going to be looking at relationships. There's a book called The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. If you either of you have read it, if you've not read it, then download it and listen to it, or buy the book. It's a really good book, and it's not literally just for personal relationships. It can be for friendships as well, and even your colleagues. If you understand the language that people are speaking, you can communicate with them so much more effectively in their life and develop stronger relationships. And the same with you, they can relate to you in a stronger way. Yeah, you can express affection to people regularly, but do you actually truly take the time to make sure you're communicating it in a way that your partner actually wants to receive it, or your friends want to receive it, your family want to receive it? Love can sometimes get lost in translation when people speak different languages. So love languages are basically the Gary Chapman version anyway. He's got 5 different versions of love languages. There's words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch are the 5 love languages that Gary Chapman talks about it. Everybody expresses very different ways of how they love somebody and how they want to be loved. But with Gary Chapman, the 5 love languages are basically words of affirmation. People like to have that, they value verbal acknowledgements of affection. So the way that you speak to them, lots of compliments and I love you, and words of appreciation, verbal encouragement, and even texts, SMS texts or messenger texts, just to engage with them verbally so that they know that you actually care. Quality time, people who like quality time, they basically feel more secure and loved when their partner wants to, or their friend, mum, dad, whoever, wants to spend quality time with them and is always ready to hang out with them. They particularly love active listening and eye contact, and that you're fully present. So you're not on your phone constantly when you're with them, that you're fully present with them. It's all about giving your undivided attention to somebody without distractions of telephones and televisions or outside interference. They basically have a really strong desire to spend your time with somebody, actively spend time with somebody and having meaningful, deep conversations, or even sharing recreational activities. Acts of service is this is my husband. Acts of service, basically they go out of their way to make your life easier. They bring you things when you're unwell. They bring you a cup of tea in the morning. They make things for you. They pick your cleaning up for you, or they do the cleaning for you in the house. They do everything that they possibly can to make you feel as if you're looked after in your, especially when you've had a busy day at work. You get home, you've got a coffee or the dinner's ready, or the house is clean. These people are acts of service. They think that actions speak louder than words. And like those of us who prefer to hear things like me, they actually like to care for people by doing things. It's small things, big things, just anything. Gifts is obviously quite simple, very straightforward. They feel love when they have visual symbols of love. nothing that's monetary. It doesn't have to be monetary, but symbolic. They really do recognize the value of gift giving and the careful thought and deliberation that goes into actually providing gifts for people, rather than just generic gifting for the sake of it, like a hamper. They actually put thought into gifts, and they like to receive the same. Most people's love language is actually the way that they want to be loved. So the way that they love you is usually the way that they want to be loved. But often we're only ever speaking our own language. Physical touch is obvious. They feel love when they receive physical signs of affection, holding hands, cuddling, a hug, kissing, even sex. Some people touching involves sex. Physical intimacy is really affirming to them that they're loved, and it's a very powerful emotional connector for them. It goes back to childhood, usually, when they felt deep affection and love from their parents when they were held or kissed or hugged, because they weren't receiving affection in any other way, especially my generation, when our parents were never at home and we were latchkey kids. The hugs and positive affirmations of our parents really did matter at that time. They communicate their appreciation through this kind of touch, as long as it's consensual. Don't be going touching people if they're not consenting to it. It's got to be consensual touch. You can't just go up to somebody and give them a hug, like me, without them asking for it. So make sure you ask if it's okay to hug people. So basically, you need, what I'd like you to do as a take home is to download on Audible, or even purchase the book and do the quiz for yourself, but also get your partner and even your kids or your friends to do the quiz. There's a quiz in it which will ascertain which is your love language. I don't know if you've done it before, but once you've done that quiz, don't just leave it at that. Sit down and talk to people about it, talk to your partner about it, and how you can implement this into your lives to make yourselves feel more and more loved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's only a small audio. I audio booked this one, and I did it while I was walking. And it's only a short one, but it gives you, it's not long at all, but it gives you an idea of what kind of person you are. And even that act of like the presence and all that, I actually realized mine was just a simple coffee that my husband had to give me in the morning, like when not had to, but when he did.
No, he had to.
Yeah, okay. All right. But when we went down to the shop and he got me a coffee, I was like, oh, wow. And I realized after reading the book, like, I was like, I think I'm presence, but I only like small things. I think if you buy me big things, then it reminds me of my childhood of trying to compensate for love. Whereas I like the small presence, like just the thought.
You're probably acts of service more than in that case, Rita. So it's the little things. It's the little things that people do for you. It's a really, really powerful book for you both, for everybody to read. Not just read it. It's so easy to just read these things nowadays without implementing it into our lives. The powerful part of this is actually implementing it into your lives and discussing it with your partners and your kids and everybody.
My kids have done this. They've audioed it while they're driving.
Being able to show the people that you love the most love in their language is so powerful. I know with my husband and my husband is very much acts of service and touch. I'm not. So he was absolutely endowing me with all this love. He's always doing things for me, making things for me, bringing me a coffee every morning, hugging me, touching me all the time. It's not my love language. I've had to learn to do that for him because it's his love language. So I hold his hand all the time, and I'm sat next to him on if we're sat next to each other on the couch, I've just got my hand on his knee because it makes him feel loved. Mine are quality time and words of affirmation. and he wasn't giving me words of affirmation. He wasn't verbalizing his love for me, and he wasn't spending quality time with me because he's a bit of an introvert and he doesn't like going out and about. So he's actively now spending quality time with me, and actively, if he says something that he knows was possibly words that would wound me, he comes back and apologizes and changes the words around. So our relationship has grown really strong as a result of implementing this into our lives. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Fabulous. Yeah. Okay, so above and below the line behavior, we're going to work on this again. So I'm going to pop another download into your inbox, if I can find this one. So bear with me 2 seconds. I should have got all this ready for you. I'm just going to pop another one into your share. Anyone with a link? Copy link. Okay, I'm going to put this into your chat box again now, and you can either download it or print it off, whichever's easiest for you. So there it is. And this is above and below the line behavior, line violations. So basically what I'd like you to do with this one is, you don't have to think too hard about it again. I basically want you to be writing down what habits you've got that violate these above and below the line behaviors. So you can utilize your wheel and some of the answers that you came up with during filling out your wheel. What habits have you got at the moment that are violating this above and below the line behavior? So you're not taking responsibility, you're not taking action, you're not seeking solutions, you're a bit stuck, or you're ignoring or blaming or excusing. Write down what you've got at the moment. And I don't want you to punish yourselves for this. I want you to be aware of it. Okay, so just write 2 or 3, 4 if you want to, violation habits that you've got at the moment. So you've got a couple of minutes to do that. Don't overthink it. I literally just want you to write the habit down first, just the habit on the left-hand side. And let me know when you've done that. Don't overthink it. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So now what I would like you to do on the other side is to write down what behaviors you believe you can replace them with. What behaviors can you replace those habits with? Just write them down. What habits can you replace those behaviors with? Yeah. So write those down now. New actions. All good?
Yep.
Yep.
Fantastic. You don't have to, but if you would like to share maybe one, two if you wish, have a share. Who wants to go first?
If you like, Josh.
I
Oh,
love it, Josh.
gee whiz. This is the glue factory joke. It's all right. I won't do it again.
Hey, look, no, that's the least of a glue factory. Not at all.
I just wrote for one of them, like, I'm getting better at it, but still following through right to the end of stuff. So, like, for example, there's a Disability Living Expo coming up not this week, next Friday, Saturday, which I'm sharing a booth with. But there's lots of things to do in that. Like, I've got pamphlets to get organised, flyers. I've got a pull-up banners getting done. It's just sort of, I've got them all going at the same time. And I know sometimes things happen at the same time, but some of them I probably could have got, or get certain things done first, then move to the next one, rather than having them all sort of juggling them all at the same time. Just try and get to an end point on one of them. Think, okay, I can't do any more on that right now. Hit the next one and just keep hitting the end points rather than sort of make a phone call here, then a phone call here, then a phone call. It's like, well, they're all going at the same time. Just try and follow through to the end, whatever the end looks like, before I think, oh, and this one, oh, now I'll do this. Just try and get a bit better at ending stuff before I start the next thing.
That's a brilliant one. I love that one. And like when I was doing the time management, effective time management, if you remember it, or even go back and watch it again and go over your notes again, eat that frog basically, and segments, using 90-minute segments at a time, and focusing on one thing at a time, so that even if it only takes 10 minutes, all distractions are down, all your notifications are off, and you are literally, okay, the next 10 minutes I'm focusing on this one thing. I'm not answering my phone. It's not going to be life or death. If it's life or death, they'll ring back, and you can answer it in 10 minutes time. But only focus on one thing at a time, because if you lose focus, it takes so long to get back, and sometimes you don't even get back to it and you forget about it and it gets left, and next thing you know, last minute, sugar, I've got to do all this stuff, and you're doing it all last minute, cramming it all in. And isn't it how funny how much you can get done in an hour when you've got no time to do it? If you actually focused for an hour on that right at the beginning and got it done and out of the way, so that frog's gone, it's been eaten, it's done, and you can tick it off. Put your goal down, put your steps down, transfer it into your schedule and stick to it. And if you make that habitual, it becomes habitual, but you have to practice it. So that's a brilliant one. Love it. Thank you.
I've taken myself out of the main office and given myself a closed in office, so I've got a quiet space where I'm not distracted.
Nice.
I tend to, I'm very easily distracted. So
humans are, and that one in itself is a brilliant way, because below the line habit is allowing yourself to be distracted constantly. Whereas if you create a new habit of locking myself in a room, closing the door and letting people know I'm not available for the next half an hour, brilliant.
I have one of my staff members, she has a sign on her desk, please do not talk to me, I'm concentrating, I get too easily distracted, and it goes on and on, about, so leave me alone while I'm working until you speak. And it's everyone, it's quite good. So
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's a brilliant method of making sure that you can not be disturbed and concentrate on one thing at a time. Because as habits, as humans, we've been conditioned to create these habits of distraction. It's literally a habit. We don't have to be distracted. We choose to be distracted. If we can create new habits, it makes life so much simpler, because you literally achieve in a very small space of time everything you want to achieve that you are currently achieving in a day. You can achieve it in an hour or so, and then you've got the rest of the day to yourself and you've done all your work.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So I guess for me, there's so many of them at the moment. I just feel when I started this venture, I felt constantly above the line, but nearly 2.5 years in, I'm feeling more and more constantly below the line. And I guess I feel like I've got no control, and I need to take that control back. And I have delegated or put people in roles to take that on, but ultimately, and they're great, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's still me that's responsible. So, and I just feel I don't have control, and I need to take back control. And doing this course and understanding, and I'm doing other things to try and
and that helps. That really does help. We were going to do becoming a leader, and we'll do it, Rita. It's required, even at a lower level. It's required, understanding how to lead people effectively without you feeling responsible for everything, because yes, it's your business. Yes, you are ultimately responsible because you're the one who's got the insurance, you're the one who's paying all the wages and everything. However, you do not need to own that constantly, because you do have people in your team that can take over a lot of that responsibility from you. And the more you delegate and let go of, the easier it's going to become for you. So we'll have a chat about that next time.
And just to understand what kind of leader you are will make it you'll be okay with it, because once you accept the type, because we always think there's one certain leader, but there isn't. There's like, I think there was 6 different types of leaders. And then once you figure out the type of leader you are, you kind of accept yourself.
And and look, and I have touched on stuff like that over the years, and I'm sort of that laissez-faire. I think it's referred to leader. I'm very laid back. I'm not. I don't rule with an iron fist, and I give people the opportunity to
step up.
I don't micromanage, and
love it.
And but looking back now, a lot of that has bitten me in the backside, and the people that I have allowed and trusted have now turned around back at me.
And we'll support you to get that leadership back again, that control back again, Joanne, so that you do not feel overwhelmed and drowning.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Love that so much. This one's quite at the right time. Healthy boundaries, personal boundaries. You've all heard of the term healthy boundaries. You may not be sure what it really means. Basically, it's a very overused phrase, especially nowadays. But at its core, it's basically setting healthy boundaries, meaning that you're making decisions about what you allow into your life. Personal boundaries encompass a huge range of different things like physical contact, personal space, verbal interactions, as well as emotional well-being. And it just basically means that you take the time to take care of yourself and your personal needs. Every day, every single day, you've got the opportunity to create and maintain those boundaries. Saying no without explanation, because you do not need to give an explanation when you say no. We are habitually explaining ourselves because we feel guilty for saying no, when we are saying no because it does not suit us. We don't have to explain why it doesn't suit us. We feel guilty for saying no, and we need to break that habit. And it's a really difficult habit, especially my age group, because we're so used to saying sorry all the time. Stop saying sorry. Stop saying sorry. If you're late, saying thank you for waiting for me. Don't say sorry. If you it's like when you go into a shop and you bang into somebody, you automatically say, oh, I'm so sorry. You don't need to say sorry. You just say something very, very simple like, I was in your way. Bear with me, I'll move. Don't say sorry all the time. We say sorry for every single little thing without thought as to why we're saying that. But our unconscious mind is constantly thinking, God, we're always wrong. We're always doing something wrong. We're always apologizing for ourselves. So practice saying no without explanation, and stop saying sorry as much as you possibly can. Just those two little things. Just start those two little things and see what happens. For example, if there's boundaries, if you tell your team that you can't come in on a Saturday, if you're not going to come in on a Saturday, you tell your team, I'm not going to be in this Saturday, without an explanation as to why, then they're going to manage without you. And you say to them, I'm not contactable unless it's urgent. I want to have Friday through till Sunday off. Have Friday through till Sunday off. You own the business. You've got so much responsibility. You don't have to explain to yourself why you're having that time off. You don't have to tell them you're going to the hairdressers. You don't have to explain yourself at all. They're your boundaries. You need to establish healthy boundaries, but also understand why they're so important to you. Okay. Stop. Basically, say stop. Personal boundaries are the limits that we set in place in friendships and relationships, and they show where one person ends and the other one begins. So basically, it means that we've all got separate, very, very separate and very, very distinct needs. But without putting boundaries in place, it's difficult to distinguish between somebody else's needs and your own needs, because you're not always putting your own needs first, you're putting their needs first. So you're overstepping your own boundaries. It's not your sole purpose to meet everybody else's need whilst ignoring your own. It's really not. We teach people how to treat us by the way that we treat ourselves and what we accept from them, behavior we accept from them in the way that they treat us. It's like a child. If you say no to a child and then one day you say yes, the child is going to ask for it constantly because he knows that you're going to give in. So if you never give in and your boundaries are always, these are my strict personal boundaries, and you don't veer off from them ever. Because if you do veer off for them, humans being humans are going to push, and until they get you to say yes again. To just say no without explanation. Is this making sense?
Mm.
Yeah, and just going to, I guess, if I may give Josh a bit of advice as he grows. You know, I was very close to my original lot of staff, and that wasn't what I should have been like as a boss, and allowed myself to be acceptable and always there for them, because that's what's bitten me in the bum. And now the staff that come on now, I don't even know half of them now. They're all employed through my operations manager and my other managers.
Yeah, good.
And they don't know me and I don't know them, and I don't have any issues. But the issues I have in my business are those people I allowed to get close to me. And I got close to in the beginning, and it's created a world of hurt for me. So,
to be honest, Joanne, you can put boundaries in place now. You really can. You can step up and into your leadership role and start just little ones to start off with, by saying no without explanation, by stop excusing yourself, by stop saying sorry, by stop explaining who you are and where you are and what you're doing 24/7. They don't need to know. Just little bits at a time. Just pick one or two little things that you can do until you've got those established, and then start on the next thing, and eventually you'll get to the point where you are totally respected and you have your boundaries in place. Does that make sense? Yeah,
because those people in the beginning, Josh, that think that they own you because they're close to you, they are the people that will hurt you
the most. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's sort of
establish those boundaries now.
Boundaries on staying
now.
Yeah.
And it's not just in your business life either. it really is not just in your business life either. It has to be with every single human in your life, your friends, your family, your partner, as well as your business and your work colleagues, your clients even.
And that's a big one too. Sorry, ladies, just on that, Josh, I've got my early staff members overstepping boundaries, and this last week I've had to lay one of my closest support workers off because she continually oversteps the boundaries and none of her clients want her, and I no longer have work for her, and then she impacts on staff don't want to work with her because she's got no concept of boundaries. So again, make sure your staff know what
if you work out with your team what your business values are, what are our business values, work on above and below the line behavior with them at all times and put those boundaries in place from the beginning. Joanne, you can put them in place now. Bring them in and start talking to them about above and below the line behavior and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and start creating this culture of ownership of their own words, of their own behavior, so that they own their own behavior. They can't fob it off and excuse it at all. Just start slowly creating that and having little chats about it. So that people,
you're right. When you know, like toxic environments start to creep in, because a lot of it's women working together and I've worked in aged care for many years. But putting it back on them, they're the ones responsible for creating the
100%
toxic environment, not me.
Yeah,
Don't come back
100%.
because you guys are the ones. So it's your actions that are creating that environment. And I have for now I have a great team. I just have those couple of originals that are causing me a world of grief.
And to be honest, Joanne, if they need to be let go, then they need to be let go.
We're in the process of going through that now.
It may be that's sometimes what you have to do is remove that toxic element.
Breaks my heart.
Just, I know, and honestly, that is not your, it's not your guilt to own. And that's another thing about boundaries, is taking on other people's behavior and feeling guilty for something that you're doing that you perceive to have hurt them. They've created this situation, not you.
No, this stuff, there is definitely some resonating points. There's been school holidays here the last 2 weeks. And I spent a bit more time with a particular one young client or younger client. And I think the mum's of the opinion that, the hour rate's the hour rate. And then if we're at home, she thinks I'm doing other things I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm there for the client. I'm not the cleaner. I'm not the dishwasher. I'm not the empty dishwasher guy. It's like, no, we're home for a particular reason because that person doesn't want to go out or whatever it is. It's like, and a classic the other day was he's got a bit of a behavior at the moment where he's shoving toilet paper down the toilet. And I got there in the morning and the toilet's blocked. I go, no worries. The mum goes, I've got a, off to work, she goes, I've got a plunger. No, he's got a plunger. Looked at the plunger. The head's like too small and the arm's too short. I would have still had my hand full of crap. And they go, sometimes we get him to take out the toilet. I'm like, for starters, what you do in your own home's fine. I can't make him do that. There'd be human rights violations in there somewhere. So I was like, well, I can't do that. And I said, I'll use your plunger. Well, after she left, the plunger's too small. So she leaves the car at home to get bits and pieces like shopping or bits and pieces when we go out for cooking or whatever we're going to do. So when I got a plunger, an $18 plunger, which I knew would work because it's the one I got at home. Got home, went back to the house, bang, 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 done. Now, one, I'm not a plumber.
No.
I shouldn't have done that in the first place, but I'm still in that little, not grey area, but you know what? Okay. Can I do that? Yes. Is it a massive big deal? No. But that line, I need to get a bit more solid. Now it's a little bit grey and a little bit bendy. It needs to be solid. The next time I was there, she goes, I told you I had a plunger. And should have showed me the receipt. In other words, she was kind of saying, you wasted the $18. I'm like thinking to myself, well, no, I didn't, because I wasn't doing it with your plunger and I wasn't going to make him do it. So that one just sort of just slid away, but just her highlighting to me that, I had a plunger. I should have said, well, one, I'm not a plumber. Two, I can't make him get the crap out of the toilet. And 3, just get stuff, basically.
Yeah.
But I sort of bit my tongue. I thought, okay, look, you know, I need to work, you know, I call it, or someone else said to me, post-traumatic learning.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
true. Very true.
So,
However, what we need to do is learn to put the boundary in place in the first place.
yeah, so that's not
If-
happening again. And
if
as
you
I move
know
forward,
it's wrong,
yeah.
if you know it's not right, if you know it's not something that you should be doing, say no immediately.
The
Don't
difficulty
bend
with
rules.
that particular person is they've got one other worker with them, and workers, I prefer to a mentor, but anyway, who does some of this stuff. So the mum's already in the headspace that, oh, this person does it, and they shouldn't be. Therefore, so I'm like, no. So I had to spend a fair bit of time with them in the holidays. Now I'm actually winding that right back. And I'm actually thinking of how can I not minimize it, but make a few changes. So I'm just here for this, and I'm just here for that, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
That's on the service agreement.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Are those guidelines in your service agreement, what your expectations of them are and what their expectations of you
are? And it's all in there. I just sort of, give myself a bit of a smack in the head in regards to, oh, look, I'll be not flexible, but look, I'll just go for the ride, for want of a better word, and just, you know, until you stuff up, you don't know you stuffed up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The more you give, the more they take.
You do know when you're saying, okay, I'll do it. You do know that you shouldn't be doing it.
No, that's
when
right.
You say yes. Even when you say yes, you know.
Yeah.
So it's getting into the habit of actually saying, actually, no, Mrs. So-and-so, that's not on my service agreement. That's not part of my role. You need to find somebody else to do that for you.
Right. Yes. So I get to and that's how it will go from here. But it wasn't good, but it's learning. An opportunity to realize, okay, this is actually where I need to be at. This is the headspace. This is the reality, and their expectations are their expectations. And I'll be a lot clearer with everybody now. Going,
love it.
That's
love
not
it. That's nice learning curve. Nice learning.
It might be with your client, helping him to look up plumbers, and then when Mum gets home, you're giving them the number for the plumber's
bill.
Problem. And you've helped that boy to
life skills. Yep.
Problem solve.
Yeah.
Problem solve. Yeah, love it.
I know you just try to be nice and you try to do the right thing for people.
No, because what you're doing is lowering your boundaries.
Yeah, you're over-caring. And
you're lowering
the boundaries.
And again, I was responsible for that too. And my operations manager, who comes from purely professional boundaries, he says, Joe, we wouldn't have got here without the love factor, because I did all of those things to get us where we are.
Yes, but it's not going to last.
It's those things now that are biting me in the butt. And I've learned.
The bigger you get, the bigger those problems become.
So nip it in the bud now, Josh.
I'm glad it was only like a little short period of time. It was sort of intense, condensed, but it's like, okay, I've had all these learnings in a 2-week period. So, okay, I've done it. Now I can take that and go, well, this will not apply to anything else.
Yeah.
And I won't have to have little stuff ups all along the way with different clients. I've had all my stuff ups, for want of a better word, with the one. So it's like, no, okay, cool. No, this is not happening.
This is how it goes forward in the beginning.
Yeah, off we go from here.
Just be careful with females, because they'll see a guy and go, oh, actually, can you do this?
Can you just do this for me? Yeah. No, sorry.
I have used a screwdriver there a couple of times, so I'll throw that away.
So basically, we're using personal boundaries, like we've said, every single day of our life. But there are times when the fear of letting somebody down and our own guilt, stress, anxiety, even low self-esteem can actually get in the way of our making and maintaining healthy boundaries. We need to make it a habit. We need to make it a habit. And saying no, you have to let go of that guilt. Even if you feel the guilt, act as if you're not, okay? Until you get to the point where you're not actually feeling guilty for saying no and for putting those boundaries in place. People that are like ourselves, who are extremely empathetic, can struggle with proper boundaries because people need our help, and we want to support them all the time, but we get taken advantage of. We have to put the boundaries in place. You cannot feel guilt for other people's behavior. You can only control your own.
Ultimately, we go into this business because we care. We want
Yes.
to make a difference in
Yes.
people's lives. And so you do tend to do those things that,
Yeah.
that
But the thing is, if we get to the point where we are so exhausted and burnt out and disillusioned, our business is going to go.
Yeah.
So we have to put ourselves first, because every single human in your business will take advantage of you, because that's human nature. If you allow them to, they will. So stop. Just stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really good video. We'll have to find it, Rita. We'll have to find that video. It's called Stop. Stop it.
Oh,
Stop it.
is that with Seinfeld?
I think so. Yeah.
Look
we'll
on
have to find
YouTube,
it.
and it's the psychologist. This guy goes to him and he's saying all his problems, and he goes, "Stop." And he's like, "What?
Stop it.
Just stop it." He goes, "Just stop it." Yes,
Let me
stop
see.
it.
Let me see if I can actually find it.
It's quite funny, actually.
Banana cakes. I'll see if I can actually find it and play it for you. Let me see. YouTube.
It's funny.
Stop
Seinfeld. Put Seinfeld. Stop it.
Here we go. I'm actually going to play this for you. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen, and I'm going to share it again. Where are we? This screen. Can you see that screen now?
Yep.
I love this.
Okay.
That's spot on. Got your volume?
Yeah, I don't have any volume there.
No volume. Can you hear it, Mandy? Because we can't hear it.
I
Can't
can't
hear it.
No.
You still not hear it?
No.
How annoying. Okay, well, I'll stop sharing that in that case.
We'll
Look it up.
Yeah,
Look it up.
down.
It's called Stop It.
Yep.
It's so funny. It's the best. It's basically he helps give support to them by they come to him for counselling, and she says, I've got this problem. I'm not putting personal boundaries in place, and she pays him for his services, and he basically says, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm really good at this. I will help you stop this behaviour. So she pays him for the counselling, tells him her problem, and he says, stop it.
Actually, you can play it and I can do the sound on it from my phone if you want to.
It's all right. We'll play it
Yeah.
another time. But yeah, stop it. Look it up, please.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to sharing screen again. So basically, that's called Stop It. We'll put you over here. You don't need to be over there. And that's all about personal boundaries. So people who have been hurt in the past or who are afraid of letting go of control can sometimes establish infirm and inflexible boundaries, which can lead to isolation and trouble forming relationships with other people. Rigid boundaries often have trouble. People with rigid boundaries sometimes don't trust other people or don't listen to other people's thoughts or ideas. It's a kind of closed off personal boundary, which can keep people from caring about or helping others. So you don't want to be that rigid. You do not want rigid boundaries. We use them in a variety of areas of our life, and they come up far more often than we actually realize. Some of the boundaries that you might experience in day-to-day life are physical boundaries. So physical boundaries relate to anything to do with your physical body, and it encompasses personal space, physical needs, privacy, and intimacy. Sometimes people with weak personal boundaries can struggle to tell somebody that they don't want to be touched, that they've received an unwanted touch. They'll just let people hug them or touch them in a way that they don't actually want to be. You need to put these boundaries in place. And they sometimes don't speak up. They don't speak up when their needs are being not being met. For example, you might not tell somebody when you need to be respected, or you need to have a rest, or you need to take some time out for yourself, or you need them to do their job properly, because you don't want to be to fear that they might be feeling inconvenience, or that they're feeling as if they're being let down. So some examples of healthy boundaries include, I'm not a big fan of hugs. I prefer a handshake. Or I don't like to be touched that way. Or I'm starting to get hungry. Would you like to have something to eat with me? Or even, I need some time to myself, but I will be able to talk again later. Yeah. So basically, mental boundaries have got to do with thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Sometimes people can feel forceful when it comes to their own thoughts and opinions, expecting others to have the same thoughts and opinions when they don't share them. So they might become upset or even angry because people don't have the same thoughts and opinions as you. Everybody's got different thoughts and opinions, and they're entitled to that, and you don't have to actually understand them. Healthy mental boundaries. I don't think we can discuss this topic without it becoming heated. Let's choose something else to talk about. I'm not comfortable with this topic. You can easily get out of situations comfortably and politely. You do not have to put up with behaviors that are making you feel uncomfortable or unhappy or sad or stressed. Then you've got spiritual and religious boundaries, pretty self-explanatory. Emotional boundaries, basically recognizing that your thoughts and feelings are different to other people, and whilst you establish those healthy boundaries, you realize that your feelings are your own, and you're not responsible for their feelings. You have to be aware that you're not responsible for how other people react to you. It's their responsibility to react to you or perceive something that you've said. It's not your responsibility. As long as you're communicating effectively, like we said earlier, Joanne, it's not your responsibility for how they react to that. Yeah. Yes, it's essential to respect other people's feelings, but it's not your job to ensure that they're happy all the time. It's okay to disagree, and it's okay to make your emotional needs known. And then you've got time and energy boundaries. Again, so important. It's so easy to breach time and energy boundaries, especially with somebody who doesn't like letting people down. So you've got like an employee who's taking on, is continuously asked, or yourself, you're continuously being asked to take on extra responsibilities without you having that time. And if you've got loose personal boundaries, you say yes constantly. Yes, I'll do that. Not a problem. It is a problem. It is a problem. You have to understand when your boundaries are being violated and you're being expected to do things that you don't need to be doing. Just say no and find somebody to delegate it to, or put it back on them. If somebody comes to you with a problem and expect you to solve it, turn it around. Turn it around and say, how would you deal with this? Let's brainstorm some ways that you can deal with this. Don't do it yourself. Put it back on them. Does that make sense?
Mm.
And material and financial boundaries, again, are the same. Material goods or finances require personal boundaries. So friends, siblings, roommates, using or expecting you to lend them money or give them money or share your belongings with them, expecting you to pay for things because you're rich, you've got a business, you must be able to afford to pay for lunch. No, make it clear straight away. We're going shares on this.
Yeah, you know what, and this is a big thing, people do take advantage of this. It does happen. Like I kind of experience it, with one particular friend as well that just takes advantage every time we go out somewhere that I always pay. So you don't fall victim to that.
No, make it clear from the start. Don't make it habitual. Just say, I'm going to pay for my meal now. Don't say I'm going to pay for the meal now. I'm going to pay for my meal now, or shall we go and pay? Don't just, if they expect it, then it's going to happen all the time. So put those boundaries in place. Generosity is amazing. I love being generous. I think generosity is one of my love languages. I love gifting things to people. But people do take advantage of kindness, and sometimes they borrow things and don't give it back, like books, and you never get it back. You've got to ask for it back, or when you get things back, they're broken. Yeah. So you need to put these boundaries in place. Things like if somebody comes to you and asks for a loan, feel very comfortable with saying, I'm not able to contribute to that at the moment financially. I'm not in a position financially to contribute, but I'm happy to help in other ways. What can I do to help in other ways? Yeah. Or if somebody wants you to go away, it doesn't fit into my budget at the moment, but let me know next time you'd like to do something like this. I might be able to say yes next time. Yeah. Put those boundaries in place. Comfort zone. Basically, healthy boundaries help maintain healthy relationships, and it's entirely up to you how healthy your relationships are. It's your choice. You are making these choices. Nobody else is making the choice to allow people to treat you in this way. It's your choice. You're the only person who can control it. You're the only person who can change it. Healthy boundaries help maintain healthy relationships and promote strong mental health and make you feel safe and secure in your life. And if you're not feeling safe and secure, you need to look at you and you need to understand what it is that you are doing that is allowing people to make you feel this way. Okay, I know that's like a smack in the head, but that's how it is. It's your choice. Healthy boundaries basically encourage healthy self-care. One of the first reasons healthy boundaries are so important is that they're essential. They're an essential part of self-care. We sometimes have self-care having the reputation of being self-centered and arrogant and selfish. People that are naturally empathetic or helpful sometimes feel they should be spending more energy in helping others rather than looking after themselves. And yes, taking care of other people is a worthwhile goal, but you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. You want your cup to be so full, it's overflowing into a bucket, which is overflowing into a huge bowl, which is overflowing into a river. Your bucket needs to be so overflowing with your own personal requirements and needs that you've got an abundance of time and energy to share with other people because you have put self first. Without putting self first, you do not have the energy to put into other people because you are going to be exhausted, and they will see that because you will give so little of yourself because you haven't got it to give. People who constantly spend all their emotional, physical, and financial resources on other people end up feeling depleted, stressed, frustrated, crying. You can experience anger, depression, even mild situational depression, which makes you then react in a way that's going to actually hurt people, which is the opposite of what you want to do. Self-care is more than just going to the spa. It's more than buying luxury items. Self-care looks after your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, putting limits in place, listening to your mind, your body, when you're pushing through things too far, when you're allowing people to take advantage of you, because it feels like shit. You know when you're being taken advantage of because you feel it. It hurts here, here, here. If you're feeling that, stop it. Especially listen to your mind and body and soul when it comes to taking care of other people's needs. Put your healthy boundaries in place. On the other end of the spectrum is the rigidity. Don't be too rigid either. People who have got overly strict boundaries put personal challenges in place as well. They often try to maintain a really rigid level of control in their life, and that's not possible either. You need the flexibility. Don't create walls. So find ways to maintain your personal boundaries while still allowing others in emotionally and physically. Yeah.
Yep.
So as discussed earlier, there are those with loose boundaries and those with rigid boundaries, but there are also those who sway between the two, either being overly strict with some and extremely loose and unchecked with others. So make sure that you're flexible all the time. You need these healthy boundaries, you and your personal space, them and their personal space. Not that you don't want this unclear, no personal space thing in the middle here. You don't want this. You have to be clear whilst allowing for flexibility.
I think you get better at this as well.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a habit. You have to create the habit. So if you're a people pleaser, people with porous boundaries are often consumed with ensuring that everyone else's needs are met. Their main focus is pleasing others, and it's going to upset you to know that someone else was disappointed or upset with you. The need to please others supersedes your need for self-care.
That's
Why?
me.
I know.
And it's
How
not
do I know?
soon.
Because that's who I was in the past.
Yeah.
You might have a little bit of low self-esteem. You may not feel that you have the right to set your own personal boundaries. And this is from past conditioning. This is from conditioning from when we were younger. You might feel your self-worth is so little that you can't stand up for yourself and you can't say no to people, depending on how you've allowed yourself to be treated in the past, especially familiarly with family and friends.
I think for me, I have a bit of a sense of imposter syndrome. I don't know if I spoke about this before, because I just feel I'm just never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that me just being, you know, little Joey Parkinson from Cessnock would run a multi-million-dollar company, and that's where I found myself. And I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know how I'm expected to act. I don't know how I'm expected to. I just,
You're not expected to do anything. You are you be you, and you put these boundaries in place, and you stop worrying about what other people think of you. As long as your boundaries are about yourself, and you're not being rude or rigid or bombastic or an arsehole, for want of a better word. You are literally putting personal boundaries in place, which are respectful personal boundaries. And be you. We all have imposter syndrome. I can 100% guarantee that everybody who started a business that has all of a sudden become really successful, especially our age group, we have this feeling of not being worthy. We all feel it. 100% guarantee you, we all feel that. I sometimes feel that. I'm like, gosh, I'm just Mandy. You're not just Mandy, Joanne, because you fucking achieved this. You've done this. No other effer in the world's done this. You've done this. You have.
I struggle.
Yeah, but you know what as well, Joanne, like I've learned as well. Like the more I've gotten into it, I've let certain friends go as well, because some were either emotionally draining on me, or you know, maybe envious in certain ways as well. Yeah, there's certain people in my life I had to let go, put them on the street basically, and just let it go, because it wasn't doing me justice, making me feel bad all the time, and I shouldn't, you know. So yeah, I think you start getting good at it. As long as you realize that you're at this point, it only can get better. That's how I see it.
What I would do, you don't have to say to people, because I've had people in my life unfriend me on Facebook and tell me I'm not their friend anymore. All right, you don't need to do that. You just need to pull back. Just pull back. Make a list of people in your life right now that are not serving you, and why they are not serving you, and why you don't need to have them in your life right now, and put that boundary in place. Just start off small, start off with the ones that are easy, but you can also go to the harder ones. Family are the hardest, but you do not have to spend your quality time with them. You can give them a no thank you, but please ask me next time, and do these things when you feel it serves you. If it doesn't serve you, no thank you, but please don't hesitate to ask me next time.
Yeah. And Josh, please don't think this is not about me. This is for you, lessons for you not to get caught up in. So please.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, that's fine. No dramas.
Yeah. And we all done that. I mean, Josh has got a successful business already, and he's probably perceived by people in a way that isn't the truth. Their perception of your reality is nothing like reality. It really isn't. A lot of the time, people with unhealthy work boundaries or unhealthy boundaries are workaholics. They're perfectionists, or may feel that things are going to fall apart if you're not doing things. That's not the truth. You need to be able to delegate. People that are empathetic or highly sensitive, like I said before, are people who don't put healthy boundaries in place. They have a hard time blocking things out for other people's needs. They have a hard time putting their own needs first. Other people's pain or needs sometimes hurts them as much as their own pain or needs, and you need to let that go, because you're not responsible for everybody in the world. You have this misconception that saying no means you're not being nice. Many people are taught from very, very young age to be nice to others, be nice to your friends, share toys, take turns, think about your friend and how they feel. It's a very critical part of childhood development and learning how to live in community. Unfortunately, as adults, we sometimes feel that saying no to someone means that we're not being nice. It's going to fill us with shame and guilt, and that we've let them down. You have to get used to saying no. That is not the truth. That's your perception of the truth. Confrontation is also something that's difficult. You've got a fear of confrontation. Some people become anxious or upset in the face of confrontation. I know I used to in my past. So you sometimes simply agree to something because you don't want the repercussions of saying no. Put up with the repercussions. Sometimes the repercussions are not as bad as you make them to be in your head. And sometimes saying no is so simple, and people take no as an answer and off they go quite comfortably. It's all in your head sometimes. Yeah. You can benefit from learning that you're not responsible for somebody else's reaction. If you cannot help them and it makes them angry, it is not your problem to fix. It's their job to control their own emotions and their own reactions. Okay, so stop feeling overwhelmed by the problems of the world and that feel as if you need to fix everything. Don't sacrifice yourself to the point to help people who are in need, but often push until you reach the breaking point. Have the same limits as other people, because you can guarantee they've got limits in their life, and they're putting those boundaries in their life and they're pushing yours. So don't compare yourself to other people. Be you, comfortably, happily, resolutely you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the bottom line basically is your thresholds and your boundaries will not automatically match somebody else's, but it doesn't mean you can't inspire other people. You can't expect to be the same as everyone else. Your personal boundaries are unique to you. And by you putting those boundaries in place, you inspire other people, and it's a ripple effect. But if you're not doing it, you're not inspiring others. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
So what kind of personal boundaries have you got? Rigid boundaries have triggers. So some rigid boundaries are like they're seeking to control. People with rigid boundaries might not feel comfortable unless they've got extreme control over your life. Past trauma is another reason why people have deep, strong boundaries. And you may have some people like this in your life at the moment, even in your business life, where they have got rigid boundaries and they won't let you push those boundaries. So they make you push your boundaries. So what kind of people are you dealing with? Have they got these rigid boundaries in place? Will they not bend? Yeah. Sometimes people who have been abused or have lived through traumatic events often do everything they can possibly do in order to protect themselves. So basically, create healthy boundaries. We've spent some time evaluating your boundary tendencies, and I can see that it struck a chord with both of you. You can either, you've probably worked out that yours are either too rigid or too weak or a mixture of both. So how do you take this knowledge and apply it to your real life? We need you to apply this to your real life. How can you start establishing healthy boundaries with your friends, your family, your co-workers, your own children, partner, etc., etc. Okay. I know it's been an awful lot to absorb, especially if you haven't actually given much thought to healthy boundaries in the past. And this might be the first time that you're consciously thinking about establishing them. But as a first step, think about what you want from your relationship with other people. What's working for you right now and what's not working for you. Maybe even write them down. And then work on how you want to strengthen those boundaries. Or maybe what areas of your life are your boundaries too thick, too strict? Because sometimes we overcompensate, especially with family. We can overcompensate for our lack of boundaries in our business life and be overcompensating by too strict in our personal life. Is that happening? Because we have to have control somewhere in our lives. Have we got rigid rules and plans that we have to have in our personal life because we're not strict enough in our business life? As you set up your boundaries, though, it's probably beneficial for you to start with the ones closest to you, the people closest to you. And you're not going to wake up one day and have a perfect set of boundaries for everybody around you. That's not going to happen. But think of one relationship that you've got at the moment that's close to you that you need to start on putting these boundaries in place with and begin working on that one. But you have to do it. Because there's no point in me going over all this with you over the last couple of hours and you're not implementing it. Because we can all learn, we can all listen. It's the implementation that matters. Just one step at a time. Yeah. What I'd like you to do is a vision board. Okay. I want you to imagine your life over the next 12 months. And I want you to create some amazing goals in your life over the next 12 months, a future that you desire. Okay. The future you desire over the next 12 months that you're going to pull out your main goals for the year ahead, 2023. So I want you to get rid of any scarcity mindset, any limited thinking, any self-limiting beliefs or, on any of your reasons as to why you can't open up your mind to what could be possible in your life right now. want you to let all that go. I'm not worthy bullshit. Let all that go and think about the possibility of what you can have. I'm going to give you another thing to download. If I can find it. It looks like I've shut it. It's always exciting to do, especially when you can't see what you're doing on your screen. I'm going to give you another thing to download.
Has anyone before done a vision board?
Yes, similar sort of, yeah, goal setting with images and just, yeah, similar, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I did one maybe 2 years ago, and I probably did almost everything except for move homes. So I ended up going overseas, what I wanted to. I had a holiday, bought a new car, education. I did everything except for the house, but I did renovate it, a major renovation. So I was like, when I looked back at it, I went, oh, wow, I actually went through all of this without even realizing I did it.
Yeah.
So it was quite good.
Yeah, I really love vision boards,
Oh,
especially if you don't limit yourself with them. Don't limit yourself with vision boards. Just think of best case scenario. I've just popped you in the vision board task. So basically what we're going to do with this is we're going to work on different areas on your life. So I want you to think of things that you want in all these different areas of your life, which are the wheel, basically. So it's health, friends and family, significant other, personal growth, fun and leisure, home environment, career and business, money. And then I've put at the end, toys, playthings and luxuries. So just fucking because things. Okay, and I'd like you to write down, spend 5 minutes now writing down on your vision board the kind of things that you'd like to have. And here are some questions that I want you to think about that's going to inspire your list. So what or who would I like to be in this area of my life? What am I willing or wanting to do to make this a reality? What would I like to have in this area of my life? Just spend 5 minutes now. Doesn't have to be long. Write 2 or 3 things in each section. Don't overthink it because it's in your head already. You know what your dreams and aspirations are, what your goals would be for the next 12 months. If you could have anything you want in the next 12 months, what's it going to be? So write that down. Put a bit of music on for you.
actually going to print this out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to print this one out.
You love it, do you?
I do. I love it. Josh, you got young kids as well? Like 16, 18?
Youngest one's 18, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I do it with my kids. My kids are like 22 and 19. Yeah. And in January, we always do vision boards with them.
Get them set up, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, mommy, yeah.
I need to do that this week. My son's just been diagnosed with bipolar. So I think that this might be something good to have with him.
Yeah.
That's hard. My sister's bipolar and my daughter's on the spectrum and suffers with severe depression and anxiety. So we do things like this all the time. Yeah. Things have just escalated. Yeah, I can imagine. It's hard. It's tough. Bipola's tough. Yeah. He'll get through. We're about to go through the whole mental health system. So
is he young?
18.
Yeah.
You're lucky you're getting it early.
Yeah. So, and he's got love and support, because that means an awful lot.
The interesting thing getting off back is that he's revisited his faith, because I did raise them when they were small as Christians, and he's gone very much back into his faith at the moment. That's what's getting him by. I love it.
I'll tell you what, when I'm desperate, I always pop in a prayer somewhere.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes you forget to pray for like a year or whatever, but when you're desperate and you're like big problem, you're like, oh no, I need help.
Yeah.
Not printing.
So just write down. I mean, you can do this at a later stage. There's 5 minutes isn't really long enough for this, but that's what I've allocated you at the moment. But just go over this whole list and write down anything and everything in each different category. What would I like to have in this area of my life? Okay, and I'd like you to write it all down. Once you've written all that down, I'm going to give you another link. And this link is basically going to support you into working out exactly what it is that what goals you want from each of these lists. So from each of these lists that you're going to write now, I'm going to want you to pick one thing that you can work on in the next 12 months, one thing that's not going to set you up for failure, that's going to be achievable in the next 12 months. And I want you to write that in that list. There's a vision board task, 10 goals. So from this big list that I'm getting you to write, pull across one thing from each one.
Betty, no.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mm.
And I'm going to want you to write a list based on your wheel of life and how you're going to improve your wheel of life. So all those scores that we did earlier on the 1 to 10 and why you're at that score in each area of your life. Work on something in each of the 8 segments out of your vision board that is going to improve that area of your life first. Yeah. And I want you to be working on these. This is a plan that is not to just be written down and never looked at again. Because what I'm going to ask you to do once you've done that is actually create a vision board, and I want you to take a photograph of it. So when you've done the list of things that you can possibly have in every single section, narrow it down on the next page to one thing that is going to improve an area of your life within your wheel. Work on the first thing that's the lowest first, and put your list of 10 things in that next list of goals that you're going to achieve over the next 12 months. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, you can't do something like this without actually working on goals. So again, I'm giving you something else here in the chat. And this is your task plan. So this is a plan on how you're going to work on these goals. This is a 3-month task plan. So print off 4 of them, because you're going to need 4. I'm going to want you to do this quarterly. I'm going to want you to put the month. So the month at the moment, start off with November, because we're half the way through October. So start off by putting October, November, and then December. And then write your goal at the top and what steps you're going to take that month in order to achieve that goal. And you've got room for every month to work on 3 goals a month, no more than 3 goals a month. And what steps you're going to take in order to work on each one of those goals every month. And it could be that you can achieve that one goal in one go. Do you need to start saving? Do you need to open a bank account? Do you need to book a holiday? Do you need to start paying it off? Do you need to start saving for that those earrings that you want? Do you need to remortgage the house so you can do renovations? What steps do you need to do in order to take that, to achieve that goal? Yeah. So I want you to be working on that. And what I want you to do with your vision board is, once you've done the planning,
Stop it, Betty.
go out and get yourself some magazines, or even have a look on Google and search for pictures that are going to represent your goals. And go and buy yourself a little canvas and some sticky glue. Print off your pictures, cuss out your pictures out of magazines, just have fun. Do it with your family. Get them all to have a vision board each, and do this with them so that they can all write down their goals that they're going to achieve. It has to be achievable. It can't be that we're going to own an island in the middle of the Bahamas, or your kids want the $5,000 mountain bike that they want for Christmas, but they don't work, or they don't earn pocket money. Yeah. They've got to have the steps to order to achieve these goals. And if these goals are completely not something that they can achieve, then help them to work out goals that they can achieve. Yeah.
Yep.
And help them sit down, get some magazines, print pictures off Google, but go and get a canvas, because I would like you to put a photo of that vision board into the Facebook group. I don't want a tiny little canvas. I don't want a massive, great big huge canvas either. I just want a sensible size canvas. I'll show you my vision board. It's not massive. That's my current vision board. And that's on an easel in my office right now. And that's the kind of thing that I want you to do, so that you can see it. So you've got your goals written down and you can actually visualize those goals on a board. So take a photograph of it and put it in the Facebook group. And maybe even inspirational words. It doesn't have to be pictures. It can be inspirational words onto your vision board. Are there any questions surrounding this activity?
No.
I love doing it. And if you do it once a year, especially if you do it with partners, family, even your colleagues in the office.
Josh just falling down. He's like, no.
no, I'm all right.
Even your clients, help your clients to envision their goals, because they've all got goals.
Yeah.
Help them envision their goals, and this planner, this 3-month planner on how to achieve those goals, helps you to be working on it, and you put that into your schedule, so you're working on it. They're not just goals that you're not working on. And even if it's a goal that's going to take longer than 12 months, that's fine. You don't have to achieve them all, and don't feel guilty for not achieving them all. And if you want that goal next year, put it into next year's vision. You may have changed your mind, you want something else. Yeah,
you just be careful just asking client goals, because I did that last week. So I've got a client that does $5 million a year, and I was like, right, so what's our goal for next year? And he said, we're doubling it, we're going to 10 million. I was like, great. And he goes, so write a strategy for me for a $10 million goal. And I was like, shit, I won't be asking that question again. That's like double. I got one.
Why the hell not? I love it. I love it.
So that's been keeping me busy.
That's all, folks. Any questions? Any feedback?
Thank you. No, thoroughly enjoyed the session. Thank you, guys. And
Oh, good. I'll get arty and crafty and see how I go.
Yeah. Make sure you put it in the Facebook. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, we'll send you the link again. Join the Facebook group.
We've got to get in there.
We want to see your vision boards. Rita and I are going to be in there more often. We're going to be doing lives, one each a week, with different hints and tips and stuff for you all. So we're going to be more active in there. And also, if you've got any questions, you can always ask them in there. I know we've got our Q&A coming up soon. I can't actually.
Yeah, I do. I have it in front of me. So our next one is the 31st of October. Monday at 4 p.m. at Sydney time.
So make sure you're all in there to get those questions ready for us. And if you want us in the meantime, please don't hesitate to send an SMS or an email. If you've got any questions at all, that's what we're here for.
Thank you. Thank
Cool.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Any questions?
No, all good.
All good. I'll get onto it.